it's very delightful for me to be participating in this second of the series that we are doing with Kutch. And I'm grateful to Pradeep and Kutch for taking the leadership on a very important subject of ease of living. Uh, Before we move on to the proceedings, I would like to flag off three big villains that I think contribute to unease of living vis-a-vis MSMEs specifically. Number one, which is almost always going under the radar, is what I call RWAs, Resident Welfare Associations. This is becoming an increasing nuisance in the post-COVID world, where working from home has become a norm. And since you work from home and your employees work from home, then the local government that you end up dealing with actually is a bunch of goons who structure themselves as a resident welfare association, and then they assume on themselves the authority to tax you. They assume authority to police you. They assume authority to do practically everything. I mean, it's far more draconian government than any other form of government that we have, and it's not even a government. So that's the number one. The second one, which is related to RWAs itself, but contributes greatly to unease of living, is the local governments, the municipal laws, etc., that guide work from home. So if you have to work from home, for example, you have to be a non-nuisance activity. Now, what is non-nuisance activity? If you're a lawyer, you're non-nuisance, but if you're a consultant, you're not. So who defines that? So too much power has been given to local authority to define what is nuisance and what is non-nuisance. Now, practically everybody is working from home, other than the guys who are manufacturing. So in the era of services industry, where services form such a big part of India's GDP, why can't all services not be allowed freely to work from home? That's the second part. The third part is if you're working from home, then you have legislation like in Gurgaon and in Delhi specifically, and I'm sure it's true for other cities as well. You can use only 25% of your covered area as office. Now tell me, I in the morning work from my bedroom, in the evening I work from my drawing room, sometimes I work in the toilet. So which part of it I designate as office? All of it is office. So, these are, I mean, almost like colonial era legislations. And then the second thing that they say is that you have to have a commercial electric supply and you have to have commercial water supply. What am I manufacturing? I'm using air conditioning, which would be on even if I'm still there, whether I'm working or not working. I'm using my laptop and my mobile phone, which I would still be using whether I was working or not working. So how is it this an infringement on public infrastructure, anything beyond what my human needs are? So that's the second uh, flag that the local and municipal governments has to fall in line. And more than anything else, not that these things are ever implemented, it's the huge amount of rent seeking and unease of living that it creates. You are always trying to hide under the radar. You don't want to put your company's name board outside. You want to stay under the radar. You don't want to hire people. You don't want to invite people. Why is all that there? It's absolutely irrelevant in the digital era and more so in the era of work from home. The third biggest villain, of course, is compliances of the central government, whether every law that is made against the constituency that it seeks to protect, whether it's MSME, whether it's labor, whether it's women, it's taxation, whether it's salary. Now, we've all been looking at salary jobs being lost. Is it not better to have some earning than no earning? In today's era, everyone is working for gig economy. How friendly are our jobs for gig economy? Can my employees not be independent service providers to me? Can they not work on an incentive? Can they not work on a variable? Because I don't think anyone's going to be hiring people for a long while because you actually have to de-risk your business. So you have to spread it over a larger body, and that gives a sense of ownership to people who are contributing also. Unless they work very hard and bring home some bread, how can they expect to be paid? So this whole concept of a welfareism in employees, taking it down to micro level or a small enterprise level, is an oxymoronic thing. Then there are laws that protect women. That if you're a woman, you have to be escorted home after 8 o'clock. Uh, I'm really missing Reema Nanavati ji who's there because I've had the pleasure of visiting Seva so many times. And I think two of Seva women can actually protect me in the evening. They're so dynamic and they're so empowered. I don't think they need any male patronage to tell them that, okay, now it's 7 o'clock, so I'll escort you home or I'll send you a driver. So, so what has happened is ever since this POSH has come and some of the other women related activities have come, bhed bakri ek saman. So whether it's legislation that's meant for the big MNCs or big Indian corporate houses, or for a micro enterprise of less than a crore or 5 crore, the legislation is the same. Now, how do you expect them to comply at the same level? Same thing is with tax compliances. So everyone has to do GST quarterly return, quarterly return, quarterly return, quarterly return. Just look at the burden of compliances that is there. My chartered accountant costs me today more than my accountant does. Why should that be that? He's supposed to audit what my accountant does. So these are real issues that I'm flagging. I'm sure there are far more seasoned people and well-informed people on the panel who will be uh, picking up areas that they think are important. I thought I will flag the three villains that I think. And once again, number one, RWA. If you are, Pradeep, making any report, make a report that takes care of this absolutely non-constitutional bodies that have been empowered to govern and right under the nose of the government. Second, of course, is municipal laws. So if there could be a model code of municipal laws, and then the burden of compliances, you could look at labor, you could look at women, you could look at taxation law by law, and see that how these need to be eased out, specifically for MSMEs and smaller businessmen. Over to you, Mushram.
So